and corporate industry and this micro level industry that actually keeps people's livelihoods together. That itself is a certain kind of legacy of the 20th century. So it kind of fleshes out again the richness of the site we're dealing with in the subject. Thank you.
Are there any expression by way of art? Have you found any people painting?
Yeah. In the area of the scheme, we found many craft makers and paintings and doing those things. So it was very good experience too. So it's really a model village. We can see that how can we develop these areas again.
Maybe as a next part of study, one can study the Oryavasti and can see the strength of the community and can...
Positiveness the people have there, especially.
Could it be because of the families? They most of the
maybe. It was a small village for us. It was not basti. It was a small village where people had the chabudra meetings and all those things. Clean environment, trees, medicinal trees, and people educating them about the trees. They were sharing their experiences, knowledge. This helped me or this helped me. We were there for a while and we observed those things. So it was a good experience for us too.
Also to be emphasized maybe this outreach programs.
Yeah.
I think we have some more questions or comments.
Yes, this has been a very interesting presentation together with the first one, I think. And I have to see it in relation to each other. I think what is very interesting with this presentation is that it is an exploration into learning and actually how you observe and how you learn from the site. But it is also, you can say, it also tells about the limitations of understanding. Because to understand the site, you need much more of your own knowledge than what you have achieved. So to get that. And I think in the continuation of this workshop now, it's very important to discuss how the first group and this group can be seen in relation to each other. If you have the knowledge from the first group to start with, you will not have gone on the random. You would have been very clever to go in the areas where the groundwater contamination, now in the process we have understood now, is most alarming. So I just wanted to make this comment now. I think it is very, you have got a very good process into the matter. I think one issue we should discuss possibly later is the question of authenticity related by the first group. I think authenticity as it is defined initially is totally inadequate. Used as a term also in its content in relation to what we do. And I look forward to that discussion with very experienced persons like yourself. I'll come back to that.
Thank you.
I just wanted to make a comment. I really find the process for this and the methodology used very interesting. But the proposal that you have with the parks, it says a great deal about what you're really proposing, which is you want to bring a lot of people into a contaminated site by providing them with community centers and civic centers and parks. And as architects, or as students of architecture, we are almost defaulted on this scope where we have to design something. And that what we do has nothing to do with the other, I guess, disciplines involved. And I just want to say that, so we have this proposal that we are presenting to, I guess, a community. And we want to be democratic in that sense by inviting a bunch of people from the community and say that they need a park or they need a community center or sports complex or whatever. But is that really democratic, or are we just bringing are we just using participation as manipulation almost by this type of process that we've been so used to? My comments.
To put your question straight, first of all, let me correct you over there, the very beginning. We are not proposing. It's just the people's feedback that we should put it on paper.
It's not a design by architectural design or something. It's just their wishes in terms of art or something with colors and which we found around our track. When we are tracking, we found many things on the side and around the side. We will just place those things, not design them or not proposing them. We are just making their wish list as you will, and what they want from the site or from their surroundings, and just merging them. It was not any architectural design proposal.
Yeah.
Because you looked specifically at the user, you wanted to identify with the user almost by doing this activity, by photographing and being subjective. And by doing that, you've come up with a proposal which is these three drawings. I don't see a connection really. If you could kind of talk about that.
Yeah. Which part of my saying you didn't understand? Get me that one first. I said it's not a proposal. Okay, make it clear. It's not a proposal. It's just what people want to put it on paper. No strings attached.
So you taken a survey and then they said they wanted XXX.
Yeah, they want
so we just put a playground for the children. They want school for their children, so we just put it as school. It's their wishes.
But is it right to do it this way?
I think that's a very valid question the group should attempt to answer because you've chosen a certain. I think I mentioned in my response to the first group that you're narrativizing. You're creating a story here. So is the story that you've chosen to create, you feel the most appropriate perhaps way to map?
Yes, sir, in a way, because we are not actually, sir, I said, it's not remodeling the site, remodeling the site as per the people's aspirations. Some of the interviews that we took, we got answers saying that it would be best if this site would provide employment, if the site would generate some revenue. As I said, that some people wanted to start to restart, So there's actually a way to, how can we go about? That's a very small initiative, we can say.
I think the presentation was very useful because you did highlight that there were there were multiple outcomes, and I think it succeeds on some levels, and it perhaps does not. It's not perhaps it's not perhaps a solution-based exercise. But the idea of this as being an activity of mapping, of historical documentation, and of another way of sort of making sense of these networks, these various networks that you map, I think that it is a valid exercise.
We are just generating a resource to the solution, not the solution itself. We are just generating a resource.
One more comment. You have, it's a very useful exercise, and we are now becoming more inclusive. I mean, it's not a site that is excluded from where it stands. It becomes more and more inclusive. But you may have to be more inclusive than this. Maybe you have expanded to larger city as a whole and to various sections of, because they are so, whether directly or indirectly, the links are there to the disaster. I may stay very far, but I am very much part of what is taking place there. So not just the physical neighborhood, but maybe become more inclusive and start talking about the larger community and the manipulation is there anyway. It's everywhere. So there has to be a good balance on it.
Yeah.
I think we'll stay with the question that James has asked. We'll stay with that question. We'll come back to it later on, because the question is really, about choices that we make. When we go into the field. So we will revisit this. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Jackass. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
We'll break for lunch, 45 minutes, and we'll assemble back here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome. Fantastic.
I think we'll